dressed in white, everyone made right.
Hey everybody, Paul Turner here with the discipleproject.net, sharing with you about a new movie that has come out called Priceless, and it is the story of two young Hispanic girls being trafficked across the border and unknowingly into prostitution. Now, this movie is directed by Ben Smallbone, and Joel Smallbone is the lead, both of which are of King and Country and their first foray into the movie industry. They are the younger brothers, by the way, of CCM 90s queen, Rebecca St. James, if you remember her.
Can say is God, God.
The movie stars Joel Smallbone, and he plays James Stevens, a broken down man. He's a widower. He is a transporter of goods in the movie, and maybe think of the transporter, right? But don't look in the trunk. That was his mistake. But he plays this broken, wounded guy who's still a good guy at heart, and is simply trying to put his life back together and trying to repair his relationship with his daughter, and he's really trying to overcome a lot of things. Now, Joel does a good job of playing the hero, kind of this, I want to say anti-hero at the beginning, because he has a job to do and he's simply trying to get by. But when he hears noises in the truck of that which he is transporting, he says something is up. He winds up opening the door to the truck and seeing that he is transporting human beings. And this strikes a chord in him, and suddenly in his heart, he just says, look, this isn't right. And by the way, he does not play a Christian character per se in the movie. He does not confess Christ. His actions are simply speaking from a place where he knows this is not right. This is not a good thing to transport people across the border and into unknowingly prostitution. The two girls in the movie play sisters, and they are Bianca Santos, who, by the way, has a star quality about her. She does a super good job of acting. She plays the stronger older sister and taking care of her younger sister, played by Amber Midthunder, who does a very good job of playing the naive, innocent younger sister. She has a very quiet role in it, but when she is on screen, she does a super job of playing that innocent role, and really does a super job of that. It makes you really want to care about her in many different ways, and hoping that she gets out of this terrible situation. Also in the movie, which I didn't know until afterwards, was David Koechner, and David Koechner plays Champ Kind in Anchorman. He plays Dale, the motel owner, and he reminds me a little bit of Bobby Singer from Supernatural. He kind of plays that guy who sort of knows what's going on, and he gets involved, and later on you find out a little bit of his backstory in the movie that tells you why he wants to be involved in this and why he's so connected to the mission of James. The movie also stars Jim Parrick, who played Johnny Frost just recently in Suicide Squad. He also was in Battle of Los Angeles, and he plays the despicable pimp in the movie. And he is despicable. He's nasty. He's cold, and you kind of feel that iciness that he doesn't care about these things. He says, look, this is about money. This is about other things. This is about a business transaction. It's not about people. And he plays a really kind of nasty role that you really will dislike him in the movie. Now, let me get into this. I'm reviewing the movie from a movie quality. The topic of trafficking must be out there. And the brothers have done a good job. King Country has done a good job of bringing this message to light, and they have done it in a great, appropriate way. It's PG-13, and so it's not super graphic. They're able to get across the message with a clarity in it, where you kind of see the process, how things work along. If you have seen or if you have heard a story about trafficking, this almost maps out stories that you hear, and they tell you in the thing that this is taken from true stories. Another thing I liked about the movie is the fact that it is not preachy in the sense of a constant barrage of scriptures, and I didn't feel it was hokey. And let me tell you what, I've seen a lot of Christian movies, and there seems to be all this kind of hokiness that goes on, and I didn't really sense that in this. I felt like it was very under the radar. I still think the message got out there about the gospel, especially Antonia, who plays a Christian. She is a Christian in the movie, and so her faith carries her through this struggle of being trafficked. And what you see also is a bit of a transformation. Although you never see anybody pray the sinner's prayer, you never see this something that happens at a church or things like that. There is this slow transformation of James that you see in the movie that is really, I think, connects in a way that a lot of people do. It's not one moment, it's a dozen different moments. And what Dale says in the movie says about that small voice that you hear in your mind, and it's getting louder, of what you should do. Now, let me just share, I don't want to share, there's not too much bad about the movie, except that I felt that it dragged along in the movie a bunch. I felt like there was just some parts that maybe could have been cut out or could have been ramped up, which leads me to the better. So there's the good, the bad, and the better. Now, the better would have been this. I would have liked to have seen the tension drummed up a little bit more. I would have liked to have seen, you don't feel like, I should say this, I didn't feel like anybody was, except for the girls, like James was never in a super lot of danger. Dale eventually gets into some trouble, and there's some danger for him. But I do think that there could have been an on-the-clock kind of more tension ramped up in the fact of trying to find the girls. Also, the bad guy was bad, but I think he could have been better. Jim Parrick does a great job of being sleazy and disgusting, but because of its PG-13 rating, I don't think he could have played out entirely what this would have looked like, because it would have been graphic. It would have been those things. One thing that I noticed in the movie is that he didn't have enough men. He was Jim Parrick, who played the sleazy pimp guy, and then he had this one associate, and then he had kind of a sheriff, in his back pocket kind of thing. And I would have liked to have seen more of a gang element, which would have stacked the odds against James a little bit more, and you would have been rooting for that. The better part for James would have been he goes into rescue Antonia, and he goes in, and it's a very quick rescue, but had the villain had a gang around him, I would have loved to have seen him walk into that room and say, look, get off her, and then have to fight his way out and just destroy people. I mean, because James is the character James is tatted up. He looks like a bad dude. He's done some bad things. You see at the beginning of the movie, he hits this guy in the head with a bottle. I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see an unleashing of this anger and rage against what he was seeing. And I think, maybe because of the PG-13, but I think it could have been done tastefully, where he literally had to come out swinging and just destroying people. And you think that the movie audiences would go crazy over that, and would have been a great surprise of the amount of anger and rage and angst that he was trying to get out of his system, especially to have his wife died and so forth. All of that could have been expelled during that moment. So now when you watch this movie with your students, first of all, I do want to say I recommend the movie. I recommend the movie for your students to go see. It is not, like I said, it's a slower pace. There are some things missing there. So there's some tension that I would have liked to have seen. There was a little bit more kick butt I would have liked to have seen. They could have done that. The movie will appeal more to girls than guys, because they needed some more kick butt moments in there. But the movie is certainly of value. It's a message that needs to get out there. But I would first inform yourself about some of the trafficking organizations, maybe, so you can have that discussion with your kids. If you go to pricelessthemovie.com and look under partners and things like that, it'll show you all the different organizations that are involved there that you can talk about, share about with your kids. I'd also recommend talking about with your kids post-movie. Maybe you have a series prepared on that, or maybe at least one message where kids maybe can contribute to one of these organizations. I hope that you enjoyed the movie review today. If you have seen the movie, let me know. What did you think about the movie? Leave me some comments down below. If you're brand spanking new to this channel, thanks for hanging out for a little while. Appreciate you being here. If you want videos like this in your inbox, be sure to hit the subscribe button right here, and they will come right to you as I make them. And if you're a regular, I would love to know, are you going to take your kids to the movie? What kind of Christian movie would you like to see made? Would you like to see a rated R Christian movie made? Tell me about it. Leave me some comments down below. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
See you dressed in white.